With the last Battlefield 5 content drop update coming in June, many players are already looking to the future, what's coming next for the Battlefield franchise. And what we know so far is that most of the DICE team in Stockholm have moved onto the new project. Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2 development is being closed down, and almost the entire studio is shifting focus onto what is arguably one of the most important titles that DICE will release in the next few years, and that of course is Battlefield 6. EA themselves have spoken briefly about the title to their investors, but today marks the first time that an outlet beyond the publisher appears to have or will have information on Battlefield 6. If you're a regular watcher of the channel and you're not subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future Battlefield 6 videos, as we're covering all the rumours, leaks and official information here. Okay, so what's actually happened here today? Well, as reported by MP First, it seems that the upcoming edition of the official PlayStation magazine makes mentions of Battlefield 6 as part of a large list of games confirmed to be coming to the PlayStation 5. In this screenshot here, obtained by MP First, you can see Battlefield 6 near the top of the alphabetical list with the following caption: "The latest iteration of DICE's Sublime shooter series has been confirmed for PS5. Come back next issue for more info." It's not the confirmation of the game running on the PS5 that we're looking at here, it's the mention that more details will come in the next issue of the magazine, hinting that something might occur between now and then with regards to a release of information on the next Battlefield title. Now, with this coming from an outlet like Official PlayStation Magazine, this further info could well be to do with the game on PS5 specifically, and how DICE could be looking to use next-generation hardware to make their game better. That is a very likely theory, and it would follow on from lots of different articles that have been running at the moment where both Sony and Microsoft, alongside publishers and developers, they're all talking about the hardware and the tech inside these consoles and how that will help them when it comes to making a next-gen game. It could mean more, however. EA Play is coming in the next few weeks. This year it's an all-digital event due to the pandemic, but that would be the ideal place to drop a very small tease or a hint towards the next Battlefield game, if EA felt it was right to do so. However, looking at this a little bit more objectively and not running away with mad ideas, I don't think there's any way that EA would reveal exclusive or new details about one of their next-gen titles in a PlayStation magazine, and I don't believe they'd want to reveal any information this early on either. We're over a year away from the launch of Battlefield 6. That's a long time away. It's been confirmed by EA directly in the last month or so that Battlefield 6 is targeted for a 2021 release, coming out after the brand new console's launch onto the market in late 2020. This console generation, EA has decided to push back a lot of their upcoming titles directly onto those new consoles by taking an extra year after their release. Certain sports titles, they will still launch in 2020 on the current generation consoles, but they will also launch for the next generation consoles as well. And EA has done this, they've made this big change on all of their other games and pushed those ones back, according to CEO Andrew Wilson, so that they can take advantage of the larger install base on the new consoles 1 year later, as opposed to taking the risk of being a launch title on the brand new consoles, which comes with its own various complications and issues. Battlefield 4, that was chosen by EA to be a launch title in 2013 for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. But the team at DICE also had to develop for the outgoing Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, which is where most gamers were currently playing games at that time. And this meant a huge amount of extra work for the development team. They had to make 5 different versions of the same game: Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And 2 of those versions were brand new hardware that they'd never worked with before. This time around, EA is kind of removing that headache, and they're going for launch a year later. As for revealing information in a first-party hardware magazine, that's really not EA's usual style. Just looking back at the franchise specifically, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, they both had their own reveal live streams, taking place in May of the year that the game was set to launch in. So if Battlefield 6 is set to launch in 2021, a reveal for Battlefield 6 probably won't happen until May 2021, about a year on from where we are right now. This allows EA to completely control how the game is revealed, and they did that with Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. They could frame it in whatever way they wanted to, because they had complete control of what they wanted to do, and the audience sitting in front, they weren't going to get any interference from anyone else. And that's just what EA has done with EA Play. They broke away from E3 so they could have more control over their own events for fans and gamers. Battlefield reveals, they happen separate from anything else, so the game is the main focus, and nothing can really detract from what the development team is trying to show off. I think this kind of mention in the PlayStation magazine, it's probably part of a wider promotional effort for the PlayStation 5 hardware and technology that the console is going to use to make games look and feel better. EA has actively mentioned that they are targeting new innovations enabled by the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X already. They made that statement as part of one of their investor calls a few weeks ago. And those kind of statements, they help fuel this flurry of media attention for a while before things die back down again. And because there's such a long gap between the end of one Battlefield title and the beginning of the next one, we're looking at about an 18-month gap here. That's probably why EA made those statements a few weeks ago on their own investor call. For Sony, they have their own thing going on. They need to keep this interest in their brand new console running right up until the launch, and they're going to drop hints, they're going to drop teases wherever they can along the way. And that includes sometimes bringing in big name games for editorial pieces focusing around the new hardware. It's a great way to do that. It brings in viewers that are interested in the game as well as the console. They get a sprinkling of info about the new game and about the new console, whilst the headline features that have been released by Sony already, they're woven into the article so that players can then associate the game with the hardware a little bit more than before they read the article. So that might be what's happening here with this official PlayStation Magazine article and Battlefield 6. But we simply don't know that at the moment, because no one's come out and said anything. And then something else that we should probably consider, because this is just a screenshot after all, this could well be fake. Right now, official PlayStation Magazine hasn't come out and made a statement on a potential leak of their next issue. So right now, the information is simply a rumour, basically, and there could be a release of information coming in the next month, but there might not be as well. If this is a fake, then I do have to say it is a very good one, and that leads me to believe that it actually isn't a fake, because it just seems too professional. So, with that in mind, what is it that official PlayStation Magazine could have to reveal about Battlefield 6 in their next issue? EA is very unlikely, as I've said, to allow a third party to reveal something on their behalf. And even if they did, then I think EA would want it front and centre, taking all of the attention possible. I think the best bet that we can make here is just to kind of wait and see what happens in the next few weeks. EA Play is EA's next big information destination where they can reveal a bunch of stuff about their upcoming titles. That's the place that I'm looking for my next tidbit about Battlefield 6. We might not get anything at all because we're so far away from Battlefield 6, but that for me is the most likely place that we're going to hear something. So right now, I'd take this information with a pinch of salt if I were you. Until you hear something come from an official EA or DICE channel, then you should probably remain skeptical of that information. That way you don't get yourself too hyped or excited for something and then it never happens. But thanks very much for watching. Keep your eyes locked on the channel over the next few months for more Battlefield 6 information, and I'll catch you all in the next one.